Hello, and welcome to our second vlog.
I realized I said
So welcome to Make It a Double.
Is that our official title or is it still working? Working title?
No, it's a Make It a... I like Make It
All
a
right.
Double.
I like it. I like that. So,
What are you drinking?
vodka lemonade. Because
I
I'm
am-
fancy.
And I am just drinking lemonade, because a baby.
You a basic mom.
Is that basic? Lemonade?
Not as basic as water, but basic compared to...
made a song about lemonade.
Legit.
It's not
That's
basic.
not basic at all.
Girl.
Queen bee, nothing but basic.
No, she's
Queen bee.
not basic.
She's nothing but basic. Did I say that right?
No.
She's not basic.
She's not basic.
Basically.
Basically. Anyway.
Yeah, we're coming back from a pretty long week.
You gotta drink it.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay. Crazy week. Go.
Weekend, actually. Our crazy weekend was just pretty much summed up in one day. Sunday.
2 days.
Oh, yeah. It started Sunday.
Started 3 days.
Oh,
Started Sunday.
I'm
Coming
getting
back
agita.
from our friend's house in Illinois that we had a great time at. And Nova didn't eat much because it's a new place. And if anyone has toddlers, they understand that toddlers get excited at new places and they don't want to do things like eat or nap.
no.
No. And she just really wanted to climb the railings and furniture and
She had a
do
good
all
time.
the things. She had a great time. She just didn't really eat much. So as we're driving up from their house, which is mostly back roads, we stopped at a country gas station called the Country Gas Station, which was in the country.
It was BP.
In fact, it was surrounded only by cornfields, a whiskey ranch, and a gentleman's club.
Whiskey Ranch being the name of the restaurant, the Bar and Grill.
Right. And other than that, it was cornfields everywhere.
Cornfields and country and gentlemen's clubs.
Just one club.
Just one. I mean, there could be two. We didn't look. But go on.
So we pulled in. I ran in to get snacks, came back out, went to shift the car in reverse, as one does when they're reversing out of a parking stall, and it wouldn't reverse.
No luck. Turns out, and I know from working in a parking garage, I don't know too much about cars, but I at least know this, that sometimes if for whatever reason the brake doesn't work in getting your car out, there is a shift lock trigger, like a switch, a little button that's hidden underneath where
Whereas
your shifter
Nova would
is.
say, button.
That you can kind of, pop the little panel out and stick something in there that can override that brake. We did that, didn't affect it. It actually gets out of park, it just didn't go down to reverse or anything else. So yeah, we were stuck.
So we called the AAAs.
The AAAs, all the A's.
All the A's.
Forget triples. All the A's.
All the A's. We called all of them. We called the best A's.
We got the
Called
best
all
A's.
the A's.
Just grab them by the A's. No.
Don't do that because
No.
then they'll do what AAA did and not show up.
Yeah. Left us standing.
Or sitting.
Idling. We're
Idling.
inside the car.
Right.
They tried, the first people they called, they were like, yeah, we tried calling this, the first one on the list, and they didn't answer. So we called the next one, and they turned down the job because we wanted to get our car towed to our preferred mechanic, which was still like an hour's drive away.
Ain't that some shit?
But it was still within the 100 miles that we were allowed with this AAA call. But I guess at the time that it was when we called them, like 7:30 or so, they didn't take the call, so we were stuck. So, fortunately,
So we called my folks and we're like, hey, we know you're sleeping. Can you come get us? They weren't super excited about it.
they weren't quite sleeping yet because they answered the call, but they were like ready. Pa in his kerchief and her in her hat had just settled down for a long winter's nap
in July.
Yes.
But they came because
Did you say Pa in her kerchief? I probably did. I apologize.
I don't know, maybe he likes the kerchief.
Maybe.
Maybe
he likes to wear her kerchief. I don't know. Anyway, I digest.
So they came to rescue us. Danielle called AAA and I was like, listen, girl, He didn't really do that.
Not
He was
enough
just
sass. You gotta work on your sass.
listen, girl. I don't know.
Are you rocking out to a song? Listen, baby. I'm mad at you. No.
Not me, AAA.
No, because that's all right. All right, enough.
So we got home at
Still
11:30. When all was said and done, we left their house at 6. So our hour and 45-minute drive ended up being like 5.5 hours.
And I had to call AAA and say, you know what? Forget this. We're going home. We'll be back here in the morning. We're gonna settle this. We're gonna get this taken care of. Watch it. Don't be like, all up in it, all up in my cara. You can't see me, by the way. Anyway,
So long story short, we came back the next day. We had to take the day off of work to deal with this.
dropped Nova off at the daycare. We're taking the day off. We gotta handle this. Drove down an hour to this place where we left the car, and all the mess going back and forth with AAA. But we got it straightened out because they were initially going to say, oh, they'll be there in 40 minutes. And then they were like, oh, yeah, actually, it's going to be later this afternoon. We're like, what is later in the afternoon?
Daniel was like, nuh-uh. How can you call me and say 40 minutes and then be like, just kidding, I mean 4 hours.
Right.
You got to do better. And so the lady was like,
Be best. Sorry.
So the lady was like, yes, sir, I will do better. And then she called back and was like, we found a guy. You'll be there in an hour. Which was just enough time to eat at Whiskey Ranch, which was delicious, by the way.
Whiskey Ranch was delicious. I don't know how the burgers at the Gentleman's Club are, but I'm pretty sure they're not as good as those that were at Whiskey Ranch.
Yes. So we get the car towed. On the way up was a crazy ride. The semi almost flipped over in front of our tow truck. This guy blew a tire. There was like 4 other people getting towed.
Yeah.
We were safe. We made it.
We
got our car back. But this baby brain
there
situation.
were like 10 toes every 2 feet.
He's practicing his dad jokes. You think it's so funny. Anyway.
Okay.
So this baby brain situation. I left my Yeti at my friend's house, which was so sad to me, and anyone who owns a Yeti understands. Then, when I dropped the loaner car off at the mechanics, I left the car seat and the garage door opener, half a bag of Bugles, and half a bottle of water. I mean, there was half of a full bottle.
Half a bottle. The bottle was half. All the water spilling out.
We left that all in the loaner car.
So she calls me. She said, "Oh, I left the garage door open." Oh, okay. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. So I call the mechanic, and I'm like, "Hey, we dropped the car off yesterday. My wife realized we forgot the clicker in there, and so he went to go look. He said, "Oh, okay, I got it." He's like, "Is this car seat in the back yours as well?" I said, "Yes, it is. Please put all of that to the side." So we were fortunate enough her mom went and picked that stuff up for us. But then I called her, and I was like, "Oh, okay, so they got the clicker, and your mom's going to go pick it up, whatever." And so I said, "So tonight you're going to pick Nova up, right?" She's like, "Yes, I'm going to pick Nova up." I said, "Okay, how do you plan to pick Nova up?" "What do you mean? Where is she going to sit?" She's like, "Oh."
It took a long time.
Oh, it was like one of those, like a double realization. But it's okay. It's okay.
We worked it out. She's here. She's sleeping right now.
Nova, that is, not her mom. But
and my mom might be sleeping right now.
Not here, though.
Not here. That we know of.
No.
So, now that you know about our week, the name of this episode is What's in a Name?
What is in a name?
Well,
that's the name of the episode.
Right.
What's in a name?
So we've been talking about baby names because with Nova, we knew, like, before we were even engaged, what the baby name was going to be. This time, we had no idea.
So we're not going to reveal any names right now. You'll find out when
the
we're
world
ready.
finds out.
The world finds out.
But we did come across some fun ones.
Actually, I like Coco.
I like Coco too.
Blame it on Disney. Blame it on Disney.
Mama Coco.
Mama Coco.
Mama Coco.
I wouldn't name a child Coco. Maybe Coco Palau, because we know the baby's gonna be born without any hair, So that's like a coconut, like hair like a coconut with just, cocoa. Not a thing. Not a thing.
Juniper. I really like the name Juniper.
Juniper? I don't know. We were looking at a list of names, some of the names that pop up, like Beatrix. And I was like, I wouldn't name my child Beatrix, but then I was like, oh, Beatrix Kiddo. The bride from Kill Bill. She's so badass. But
Beatrix from Harry Potter.
Who?
Lestrange.
Bellatrix.
Oh,
Bellatrix.
Bellatrix.
Lestrange. Lestrange. Yes. That's
Mabel
boy,
was one on the list.
Mabel?
Mabel?
No.
I just imagine a little old lady knitting.
We should totally dress Nova
Drinking
up
her
as
tea.
a Mabel for Halloween this year. And she can sit there.
Nova's gonna have so many costumes for Halloween.
All the costumes. Halloween's gonna last
Why
the
are
whole
boys'
month.
names so hard to think of?
I can think of one right now. Daniel. Boom. You're welcome.
We're not doing Daniel.
We're not doing Daniel.
We're not doing Daniel.
No D names at all.
No D names at all.
At all. We'll figure out a name. We'll let you know when we got it. But
On that note,
speaking of what's in a name, we had some people, have commented to us on Imaginat photography, and it's like, well, why'd you come up with Imaginat photography? Why not just name it like Daniel Rivera Photography, like a lot of photographers do? I'm not knocking anybody for picking their name as their photography, but
and just so you're aware, the name was a thing well before we met each other.
Yeah, well before we met each other, and well before I decided that I wanted to go into photography. The idea of Imaginat came from when I was a kid, hanging out with my cousins. I got a bunch of guy cousins that were all very creative in our own way. We got some artists, some lyricists, some definitely comedians. We're all hilarious. I'm the most hilarious.
Clearly,
I
with
just have
the
to say.
10 toes joke.
That's gold, Jerry. Gold. Anyway, so I remember when we were younger, we used to just kind of play around, and our imagination runs wild. And my oldest guy cousin Pete would say, to us, like, oh, imagine like one day in the future, we're gonna have flying cars, and everything's gonna be just like the Jetsons. Like, imagine that, Dan. Imagine that, Lou. Dan and Lou. I'm Dan. There's Lou, Pete, and Ant. And so Ant.
Ant.
I don't have to pronounce the T. Y'all know. Ant.
We didn't want people to think it was Ant.
It's just EH. Ant. It's Mark.
Ooh, that's
actually.
what we should name our kid.
Bring
What
it
would
back.
the middle name be?
Bring it back.
Oh.
Oh. Leave the dad jokes to the dad, okay? So just that sort of thing that always stood with me, and even as an adult, and I always think back, like, wow, like people would say that these sort of ideas that kids have are crazy, but you think about some of the things that we have and the technology that we have now. Way back in the day with Star Trek and the communicators, and even Dick Tracy had the watch. Dick Tracy calling Jojutsu. You don't know what that's okay. It's before your time. But now we got smartphones, smartwatches, and like we've totally like evolved. But if it wasn't for somebody saying, imagine that one day we can actually make this into a reality. And so it's that sort of mentality that I've always had, where it kind of forced me to think outside of the box. And I'm not talking about just like inventions, for a better future, but kind of like just, why do we have to look at everything this way? Why not kind of,
Well, it
look
could
at it all
even be
different
like
ways?
imagining something that you never thought you could have. Like when we bought a house,
And
we never thought that would be, well, not we never thought. We did, obviously, at some point think that. But like it seemed like such a far-fetched idea. Such like a big, crazy dream.
Yeah, like a Bronx boy living in Wisconsin. Imagine that.
Imagine that. A Wisconsin girl going to New York and living there for 7 years.
Imagine that. That Wisconsin girl meeting the best guy in the world. Imagine that. And then marrying me. No. But yeah, that's where the idea comes from, and it actually carries over into photography, in the sense that we meet people wait, are we out of focus? Oh, we were confusing it. Oh, no. We meet people all the time who don't see their own beauty the way that we do. It sounds cheesy, but it's really true. I mean, we all, we're quick to spot our own flaws. And so, like, even as a bride getting married, or even grooms who don't care to get their photos taken, and like, we look at them from a different perspective than they normally see themselves, and we're like, oh, well, let's try this, or I kind of want to make this sort of vision come true of how I see you, and I want to capture it and then show you. And so many times, like, the best feeling as a photographer is being able to show the person how you see them, and then being able to see that, and it really kind of is like, wow, like I really love this. And so we had a senior session late last year, and one of the young ladies that we took photos of, she said it best. Wow, I actually don't hate that. And I was like, that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. But it's like that sort of thing, that sort of mentality where it's like, oh, I hate this picture of myself. I hate this picture of myself. I hate this. And so you kind of are so used to that you trap yourself in a box, and you don't allow yourself to imagine that I'm beautiful. Imagine that, and like
or
I said,
even like if you just step back and look at what a wedding is. A wedding is two people's families who may or may not all know each other, but probably not, based on the many ones we've seen. Very few of the family members all know each other, and they're friends. Like, all these people coming together to celebrate two people and their love for each other.
Yeah.
That's going to impact the world in some way or another, whether it's through kids or the things that they do together, or, people impact the world all the time. And it's,
right.
it's kind of like a wedding is the start of a change in history, which is really awesome. Imagine that.
Just got really deep just now.
I did get really deep just now.
But it's true.
Baby brain.
True. Oh,
I know all
brain.
the things.
Between you and a baby, you know everything. Between me and Google, we know everything. Mm-hmm.
That's true.
That is true. So that was the start of... Oh, we're out of focus again. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's when I dropped this drink.
It's the
Put it down.
drink. Is your drink making the camera drunk?
Wait. Come on. We'll get it.
Oh, we got it. Yeah.
So that's where Imagine That came from, and that's where it kind of applies to us today. And at least that's kind of our vision and why we continue with that name. It's more than just me. It's really about, the subjects and the people that we photograph. So we want you, the subjects. It's a technical photographer name. It really is corny and cheesy, but it's about you. When we photograph you,
it's about you.
We want you to imagine.
It's about
imagine
you.
yourself as a beautiful flower,
as the person you
blooming
always imagined you
and
could
blossoming.
How do you say it? Meow.
So that's in that name. Anyway, we've taken so much of your time. Thank you for joining us here today on this video vlog. I was gonna say podcast. Vlog.
Vlog.
I want to film this vlog.
Have a great week and make it a double.
Look at this optical illusion. It's an optical illusion, but mine is really bigger than hers. Got it at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Nerd
Everything's
alert.
bigger at Comic-Con?
I'm pretty sure it's just the opposite. All right, guys. Have a good one.